Video, make sure.
We start out on video.
Study session, Mayor and City Council meeting 4 p.m. Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, City Hall Complex. I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, will you please?
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Number 3, motion to go into executive session.
So move.
Second, sir.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And Mayor, the individuals that will be in the executive session, in addition to the city council members and the city clerk and city attorney, will be city manager.
Okay. And right now they're about to turn everything off.
Okay. Just a second, sir, he's turning the microphone.
Wednesday, October 7th, 2020, City Hall Complex. I call this meeting to order, and please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk, please.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Ah, yes. Yes, I just want to mention that we reconvened from, we actually adjourned from executive session to reconvene now on the meeting, regular meeting. Okay? Okay, so number 3, financial monthly report. 1?
Sir? Mr. Mayor, we have Ms. Walker on the line here on the
Okay.
screen, and she can go over the financial report for you tonight. Thank you, Pat. Pat, it's all yours.
Okay, thank you, Mary Beth. I hear an echo in the background. I hope it's okay for you guys.
It's fine for us.
Okay. What I'd like to present to you is the financial report through August of 2020. That's only 2 months of the fiscal year, and as we talked about in July, or in August of the July report, the fiscal year was divided up from July 1 through June 30th into a percentage that you should collect on revenues and into a percentage you would spend. It would be 8.33% every month. And in a perfect world, that's what you take in every month, and that's what you spend. Of course, we're not living in a perfect world, as we know. And so revenues come in seasonally. Some of them, like sales tax, might have fluctuations. Anything from licensing, where you get renewals and things can come in different on the revenue. And on the expense side, you can create contracts at the beginning of the fiscal year, and it may look like you spent most of your budget, but it's a contract for the full year, and it's just showing as an expenditure through the month of July or August. So keeping that in mind, that's how I review the budget report and monitoring as we go into the fiscal year. So as a rule of thumb, we should be at 16.66% of the fiscal year. That's 2 months for July and August. For the general fund overall, revenues are slightly below the total for the general fund by about 1%. But the expenditures are lower than if we take the 16.6%, they're 6.95% lower. The general fund August 2020 year-to-date revenue was $3,631,723, and all these numbers are combined and presented in the charts that are attached to the memo that you received this evening. 59,000 under through August of 2019, which is fiscal year 20. Revenue categories are discussed further in the report. The expenditures are about $85,870, less than what they were through August of 2019. So your revenues might be down a little bit, but so is your expenditures by even more. Going on to the major categories, where we talk about it starting on page 2 of the memo. Major categories are that, again, the 16.66% were down about 15%. But we did budget knowing that if COVID continued, we would have a revenue shortfall. Our projections were going to be about 1.5%, but we're less than 1% difference. So we're still good through August. The main area of concern that I want to make sure council understands is the local sales tax. In July and in August, we're $566,398 compared to where we were a year ago through August. But we budgeted less, but we are still, even with our projections, we were going to be through 144,960, but we're down by an additional 421,000. Why I'm not raising the roof right now is because we're talking about the revenue side, and we're talking about one category in the revenue side. And so as we go through the other revenues and we get to the expense, you'll see that we're still in good shape, but we've got to closely monitor it. And if it continues to go on a downward spiral with the sales tax, then that's when we're going to have to come back to council. We said we would be coming back in December, but if it continues at the rate that it is, then we may have to come back once you look at the revenues, the main thing that you have to keep in mind is, okay, we're having a revenue shortfall. But as long as our revenues, even if it's less than what it was last year or less than the budget, is still covering all our expenditures, we're not dipping into the fund balance. And that's where you are now. You're not. You have a budget of 16.6%, you're at 9.71%. And there's only a couple departments that are above that 16.66%, and that's MIS. We talked about that last month, that they left a lot of their contracts for maintenance and licensing at the beginning of the year. And then again, the only other department that's above it is animal control, and it's again based on the increased activity. You know, a contract for that, and we have to pay according to the contract and what they charge us. In the HER fund and the overweight fee funds, we still are a little bit down on the revenue collection, not by much, but the good news is the expenditures though are down too. So we're not to the point where we're not covering our expenditures. Now the overweight fees are only $12,844, and just for comparison purposes, through August of 2019, they were $164,944. We have enough carry forward funds to pay the expenditures because you have spent $465,405, and you have over $2.5 million that you're carrying forward. So you're not, but you are using your savings account in the overweight fees because you're not keeping up collections to build back up again on what you're spending. On utility funds, less revenue, certainly when we were looking at the budget, but you are at 15% on the revenue side for the sewer fund and the water fund. And we had budgeted that you were gonna come in less by about $144,000 for 2 months, and you're really coming in a lot less than that, overall. And again, that's on table E of your memo attached. So we're not concerned about a 1.66 difference at this point, and your expenditures are only 10% of budget compared to the 16.66%. On the water fund, again, revenues are being right up there with the projection, and your expenditures are only 9% of budget, so you're not in trouble in the water fund either. For the sanitation fund, your revenues are coming in right on target, and your expenditures are only 9% of budget, so you're in good shape in the sanitation fund. And then we do always attach the Wells Fargo investment statement for your review, and then I'll just open it up to council if you have any questions.
Pat, what's your name, is Walker?
Yes.
Go ahead, Council.
On the water fund, just to make sure, there's an agenda item here where we're gonna be taking, I think, $70,000 out of the water fund right now to pay a drilling of a well. Is that gonna impact that $70,000 on that account?
No, I review all the things that come to council from a financial perspective, the department directors. We have a review, and finance director is one of them, and I've been reviewing all of them, and that's fine, where he's taking the money from, so,
Okay.
good.
And I didn't get the Wells Fargo investment statement.
Okay. That should be, attached
Huh?
to page, and maybe it was just, we'll get it out to you.
It's not there right now. It's here.
Where is it?
Last page.
Was it on this one here? Oh,
Yes.
I didn't see that, because I always like to look over that. Well, anyway, also, Ms. Walker, is there something that you could help us with? I was talking, I don't wanna wait. Right now, I think we have a consistent decline in sales tax revenues. I don't see anything, especially as long as they're going to keep people from Sonora coming into the Arizona side, into Nogales in particular, to do their shopping. It's probably gonna be closed again in November and December. So is there something of a financial strategic plan to have of what you can present to us so we can discuss? I just don't wanna get to the point of, what are we gonna do now? I want us all to be prepared as to what, if this happens, if this financial flow continues in that manner, this is what we're going to have to do, so we're prepared for it. And give opportunity to Mr. Kissinger to also market that strategic plan with the workers, which I think is very important. So nothing, I don't want people to think that whatever we have to do is because of our mismanagement as much as it is the economy at play. I don't think, according to the news that I've read from the National League of Cities and Towns, that their lobbying is going very successful in Congress to give cities and towns additional money so we don't have to bear out this entire financial COVID crisis by ourselves. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, if we could come up with another $3 or $4 million from Congress, that would be a big help for us. I don't think right now it's going to happen, but I just would like us to have some kind of strategic plan that if this happens, this is what we will be faced with. This is what we have to do so that Mr. Kissinger can market it with the employees so nobody gets caught up, if that's possible.
So, Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead.
Pat, I'm not sure, I'm trying to recall if you were with us at the time, but we did prepare a financial strategy plan anticipating certain declines of revenue and what triggers what. And what I'll do for Dr. Barone and the rest of the council is refresh that document and make sure they have it. And I know all of the department directors had it to speak with their employees about that and to see what would trigger what. And I'll double check to make sure that we share that with all of our employees and bring it back up so you guys can look at it again. Because we've already looked at it and I believe, I can't recall if you approved it or not or we just resent it. But I'll make sure we get it to you and I'll refresh my memory for next meeting, sir.
All right.
Mayor and council and John, you did share it with me, and I went through it and reviewed it when I first started with you, and it was a very good plan. It was a way that, we're gonna do this first, and then this next, and this next. And we're not at that point yet to have to invoke any of those, mainly because of what council did during the budget sessions, where you put the $2.3 million of Arizona CARES Act into a contingency reserve. And the way I've been monitoring it is, and that's what some of those figures are in there, is to say that, okay, if the COVID hits, we will, may end up under budget by 2.2 million. So the 2.3 million we put in reserve in the event that would happen. Where the trigger point comes is if we think we're gonna exceed that 2.3 million that we put into the Arizona CARES Act. Then we've got a problem because we're dipping into your savings account. Right now, you've got the coverage of the Arizona CARES Act that you put aside and didn't spend, you put it into your reserve, and we're covered by shortfalls. But I know that you would like to be able to spend that in other ways, and I know council will want choices when we get to that point where we're getting close to it. I would agree that it doesn't hurt to go through that again, talk about the 2.3, where we are as far as a percentage or an amount short that we thought we'd be. We thought we were gonna be 2.2 million. Are we ahead on the sales tax side? Yes, you're absolutely right. It's worse than what we thought it was gonna be for the first 2 months. So if that trend continues and the other areas don't pick up, then we might exceed that 2.3. So I think it would be a very good discussion to have with council sooner than later. Maybe the next council meeting we can bring it back out again, talk about it, and then we know where we're at through September. And that's the first quarter of the fiscal year, which is a good monitor and where we might end up, unless things fully recover pretty quickly.
Go ahead, Councilman. Vice Mayor.
Pat, a question. Has that overpass project on Mariposa, on 189, has that made any impact on our sales tax? Is that bringing any sales tax to our community?
I wouldn't know specific to that project because overall we're down in the sales tax categories, but we might have been down worse if we hadn't had a project. So
Okay, that's what I mean.
It's hard to gauge that on the reporting so far.
Yes, because that project will be completed, I think, in June of next year. So, we're depending a lot on some of those projects to bring in some sales tax.
And that would, again, it might offset any, I would say, deeper deficits you might have by having new projects come in and maybe bring some more sales tax. But again, those are things that we'll have to monitor.
Thank you.
Any more questions for Pat?
Anyone? No?
May Pat be excused, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Pat, thank you very much. The mayor went ahead and excused you from the meeting. If you wanna get on with life and start working on the other stuff we have working on. I appreciate
Thank you
Pat.
very much,
Thank you.
Mayor.
Thank you, Pat. Yeah. On the presentations, presentation of certificates, John.
Yes, sir. I have a couple of certificates that I wanna,
You didn't have to do that for me.
I know, Mr. Mayor, but I felt it was important. These are, and the reason why, that I was asked to do it are, these are the certificates that came in from the legal cities and towns that they usually do during that, honors dinner.
Yeah.
But this year, because of COVID, we didn't have it. So the first certificate is for 8 years of service and dedication to effective local government in Arizona, and it's presented to no other than Mr. Arturo Argadino. I'd like to take that.
Thank you, John.
And typically would ask for a speech, but I don't know if it would be appropriate at this time.
No, not in this session, but I would do it if there was an audience out here.
And then, Mr. Mayor, we also have, one of our favorite councilmen, who did, 12 years of service of dedicated, strong, and effective local government in Arizona. And this is presented to no other than Mr. Rob.
Not a boy Crunster. No, nobody's going for that.
Y todavía quiere 4 más.
Y una placa del tamaño del escritorio.
And Mr. Mayor, that concludes the presentation.
Thank you, John. What was that, Nubar?
10 more years.
Come on, Nubar. All right. Okay, in presentations, we go to B, Street Department presentation.
Mr. Mayor, you requested a presentation from the street department as it relates to our streets there at Frank Reed and the sidewalk. And with that, I have Mr. Guerra, who's ready to give his presentation. Juan?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. Finally, I'm able to make this presentation. So be good with me, please. So I'm doing my best to present a proposed action plan to do the improvements on these 2 roads, Mariposa Ranch and Grand Ridge. I will share a presentation with you right now.
You still with us, Juan?
I guess I'll do the presentation. No, algo pasó. Juan? 1, 2, 3.
Judy, if you can hear us over there in your office, could you please let Juan know that we lost him? There he is. Juan, we lost him.
I'm back. Okay.
Yay, Juan, we got it.
All right. Let me make a full screen. So, this is a current condition of Grand Ridge Road, as you know. We have the plans in this fiscal year to replace the paving on Mariposa Ranch Road in-house. So this is an easy project for us because our guys are very well skilled workers to do these type of projects where we don't have to reconstruct any existing vertical curb for gutters and just replace the existing pavement, which is not the case for the other segment of Franklin Road or Apache Boulevard. Let me show you the next. I just modified the presentation that you have available. I just included 2 additional slides to show that this project has been in the mind of the city from many years ago. In 2006, the city paid a consultant to have a feasibility study on Apache Boulevard, which is in the left side of the screen. And that feasibility study had public meetings and very close activities or conversation with the school. And all of them at the end, the summary was to construct the runabout at that intersection. It was the final recommendation and approved by all the participants at that time. And then in 2010, the Unified Nogales Santa Cruz County Transportation Plan also mentioned the need to do something on Franklin Road to provide a facility for pedestrian and bicycle. Similar way, the recent study done last year, Bicycle and Pedestrian Master Plan, also recommended doing something there. Thank God, this year we will start with the design of the pedestrian and bicycle on Grand Avenue and Apache Boulevard. Currently, ADA is in negotiation with the most qualified firm. There is an issue going on with the consultant. They want more money than what is available. I told ADA that go with the next most qualified consultant firm if they don't want the money available. It's $380,000, where the city is contributing with $30,000 the matching funds, but the consultant wants $50,000 more. And so the option is to discuss it with the consultant and see if they accept the money that is available, or if not, we can go with the next consultant. So we don't know yet. I will let you know as soon as I'm informed by ADA. This slide is showing trying to mimic what was discussed in the 2006 study, which some interests provided to the high school, to alleviate a little bit the traffic congestion at that intersection. It is proven that runabouts work very well in areas where there are 4 or 5 lanes or a lot of traffic. So this is a concept design. I just created these CAD files just to tell you the potential ideas that we can do here. One of the issues that we have now, the consultant that will be hired by ADA, the scope of work for the grant is nothing else than the pedestrian pathway, the multi-use pathway. So that design doesn't include additional improvement like a road realignment or sidewalks on the other side. So my idea that I want to share with you tonight is that in order to, ADA will take about 18 months to complete the design, starting this year. And the construction is also estimated to be in about 1 or 2 years. I will show you some slides later. So in other words, we will not see the multi-use pathway until maybe 2-3 years later. But if we start working toward that grant or that project now at this time to realign Apache Boulevard to leave room for the pedestrian or the multi-use pathway. As you can see in these exhibits, you can see under the proposed multi-use pathway, which is recommended to be 10 feet wide, the existing sidewalk will have to go out, and the road will have to be shifted a little bit further west. We have plenty of right of way. The thing is that the existing road alignment and the existing sidewalk, there is no room for the multi-use pathway. We have in our budget in this year the repaving of Mariposa and Frank Reed, Apache Boulevard, excuse me. We don't have enough money maybe for all this, the whole overall project, because the way that I estimated the money in our budget was to repave the existing in-house. Just remove the existing pavement and put it back. If we go a little bit farther and do the widening and the vertical curb and gutter, which is recommended to for a drainage purpose, it will cost more, and I don't have that estimation at this moment. Next slide is a different option. Instead of being asphalt, the runabout, just plain concrete on the middle. It's just different ideas. At this point, I'm open for suggestion and ideas, and this is a concept design. And the next one that I just added before the meeting is, if we do nothing, and no runabout, is just whatever exists there, put existing condition. And then just continue going further north. Again, the existing sidewalk is we need to demolish it and leave room for the future 10 feet wide multi-use path. So it's the scope of work for this project. The multi-use pathway will go from Grand Avenue to the front of the high school. But this project, the project that I'm talking to you tonight, is just the repaving of Apache Boulevard up to Ciarguli Place. The next slide is just the project limits for the multi-use pathway, which is from Buffer Drive all the way up to Country Club. The proposed pathway will be on the east side of Grand Avenue, and also it makes a T on Apache Boulevard and goes all the way to in front of the high school. The next slide is just the life cycle of the project development process. This is something that nothing else can be done. This is the way the ADA and the federal government works. We are more or less here in October, starting with the design, and its cost takes about between 18 and 24 months, according to past experiences. Because they have to deal with utility, railroad, environmental clearances right away. They have a different, more strict process. And then the construction, its cost takes from 6 to 26 months. That's what I was saying at the beginning of this presentation, that the reality of this is that we will not see the multi-use pathway very soon, but we have to be patient, because it's a $1.3 million grant that is not easy to get, and also we have it in our hands already. We just need to wait a little bit more. So this is the proposed action plan that is open for suggestion and discussion. And as I said before, I'm thinking that the paving replacement of Mariposa Ranch Road can be done in-house. And because this presentation should be done 2 months ago or 3 months ago, I said at that time that we can be replacing the paving on October or November this year. We are now at that time, and we have a lot of projects in our list to do. But I'm just guessing that the best estimation date will be starting next year, early next year, to replace the Mariposa branch road. The idea that I have here is that because the Apache Boulevard, in order to provide the room necessary for the multi-use pathway, I think that is necessary to have any engineering firm to realign and provide vertical and horizontal control and drainage, dealing with the drainage at Apache Boulevard. There are many places where drainage causing a lot of damages and needs to be handled properly. There is nothing better than providing for a durable, a long life road is vertical curb and gutters, and then catch basins and storm sewer. So that's why I recommend to have a professional to realign Apache Boulevard just enough to provide the room for the multi-use path. I estimated that if we hire a consultant between October and December, potentially we can be bidding the project from January to May for the reconstruction of also, there is the idea that, or the instruction that I received before was to the sidewalks on the west side of Apache Boulevard being constructed by city crews. The concern is this, that our city crews are very well-skilled workers to replace existing paving, but I think they are not skilled to construct vertical curb and gutters and sidewalks. That requires a much more specialized tools and experience. They can replace an existing crack or broken sidewalk, but not reconstruct the existing vertical curb and gutters together. So it is better to have a contractor do that, and the idea is to, once they construct the vertical curb and gutters and the paving, the city crews can go there and do the sidewalks and wait for the ADA project coming three years later on the other side for the pedestrian. So this slide is showing the funding sources that we have in the fiscal year and in this fiscal year. For the Mariposa Ranch Road, we have available $141,000 for the replacement of the paving, which is enough for this project. The design for the planning profile for Apache Boulevard, was not discussed before, but I estimated about $120,000 for the planning profiles and drainage recommendation. So the money available for the replacement of Apache Boulevard paving at this time in our budget is $582,000. So maybe this money will not be enough, because the way that I did this estimation was to get our crews and go and replace the existing paving without reconstructing curb and gutters. The money available from the grant is 1.3 million, and again, as I said before, we will start with the design very soon, this year, before the end of this year. I'm open for questions now.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Vice Mayor.
Juan, you mentioned that you were going to demolish the sidewalk on Frank Reed Road, the existing sidewalk, and reconstruct it. do a new one? Is that what I heard?
Vice Mayor, yes, that is correct. The existing sidewalls are not, are right in the, where the proposed pathway will be located.
Yeah, because there's a problem there. There's a, right behind the football stadium, there's some bleachers, and right behind there, where the sidewalk runs down Frank Reed Road, there's like a cliff there, and it's kind of eroding. Are you guys going to take care of that, before it becomes like a problem like on Plum Street?
Yeah, yes, by now we are aware of that, and I asked Tony to, as soon as he has a chance to go at least do a temporary patch or do something, because I'm knowing that if we move forward with this proposed action and the sidewalk will have to go away, there is no need to do a very, very good work, at least just filling with grouting or, I don't know, something stabilize this buffer.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Thank you, Mayor. Juan, I thought your presentation was gonna be also on the handout that you gave us at the last meeting, but I think what you presented here is good. I didn't think that Apache Boulevard was gonna be so expensive. I thought there for a while, we said it would cost us $125,000 to do the whole thing, but it's come out to be about $750,000. But I think all of these projects are good. I would just suggest if you could get together with Nogales Unified School District to see what ideas they have on the roundabout, because we're going to have a roundabout on Mariposa Road, and it seems from what I've listened to from ADOT that those roundabouts really serve its purpose, and it slows down traffic though too. So if you could work with them to make sure everybody's in accord with that too, Juan.
That is a very good suggestion. I was thinking to do that as soon as I have a bit, a better, once we have the consultant on board, and then as part of the ADA project, we should have public meetings and public participation, and they should be part of the team.
Okay, thank you, Juan. And also, Juan, I've just been getting some calls on Camino Campestre and Camino Alto, if you can look at that and tell the city manager here what can be done to improve them, because people have been calling them. I thought that they had told me that you're doing some work out at Meadow Hills right now. Are you doing work out there?
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess that's what they told me they were calling since you were out there. If you could take a look at Camino Campestre and Camino Alto and see if there's anything that you can do to get that road straightened out. I said that the last time they did anything with it were some millions that ADOT gave to the city about 25 years ago. So if you could do something we can get a report from Mr. Kissinger on that.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Go ahead, Councilman.
Yeah, Juan, it's all very good to look at something that's gonna happen 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now, but what's happening in the next paving? I've always been asking, let's get some more paving done. Now, what's gonna happen in the next 30 days, 60 days, before the end of the year? What do we have planned that's gonna be paved? Give us a list of that, right? So we can go ahead, because everybody, if we go around town, there's 200 streets that need to be paved. So let's start getting them done, maybe if we can be doing 10 at a time or something to get rid of them. We did Perkins, which is fine, but we have to get moving on a lot of these streets, especially there, like you said, on Mariposa Ranch Road, which I guess is the street that goes to where San Felipe is. I mean, that area there, is in really bad shape, and there's other places that are in really bad shape. In Valle Verde, you have some streets there that are in very bad shape. So, there's streets that can be done, I assume, a little faster than that, so we can be doing them now, instead of looking at something that's 5 years away from us. So give us a list of what's gonna happen from now to the end of the year.
We can definitely do that.
But didn't you do that with the last handout?
Yeah, we'll do it
It
again.
was on the last handout they gave us last month, that we didn't have time.
Yeah, just for your information, Portrero, a big section, Portrero Meadow Hills was done. Very nice, you should go look at it. That was done.
I
Was
don't
that-
know, so you can.
Yeah, because that was almost all made of, all dirt. It was so bad. And right now, Public Works is doing all the water services and meters on Calle Cananea and Middle Hills. I mean, in Monte Carlo. And once they finish that section and the section of sidewalk, they're gonna pave that. They already removed all the asphalt to all the way to Nacosari from Bafford, so that's being done right now with water services, sidewalks, and paving.
You just did
And then they
Challenger.
just finished, Nogales, Challenger Road,
Right.
and part of, Nogales and the Monte Carlo, so they have been doing some
And I know they're
streets.
jumping over to Valverde here.
They're gonna be jumping to Valverde, and they're gonna be
Maybe,
doing,
like I said, if we have a little list on it, and then we can be checking it off. or
I think
whatever.
that's the list we got the last time, Councilman.
I'll give it to them again.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing the corner, that four-way stop on the corner, ahí in Valverde, a four-way stop, they're gonna do that section. What's happening with you is that you're not paying attention to what Public Works is doing.
But I will say this, 10 years ago, we discussed a roundabout over by the high school.
Yeah,
And that was heavily discussed, and it was mentioned several times, and this and that, and then nothing ever happened to it, right?
I remember in that meeting what you said. This is what you said. What is a roundabout, Mayor? Remember those words?
The way
And I
they
said-
described it, no, the way they described it, it didn't make any sense, right? And then the explanation came out as what they were saying, but again, whatever happened to it? We had a big discussion on it, and whatever happened to it?
Yes.
Just one, on the roundabout, if it's gonna happen, you guys better take under consideration that, very occasionally, you get semis driving in there, that they could make the full turn. And not get stuck, in between.
No, they're on Apache Boulevard.
They shouldn't go, but they do
I've
go.
seen
But if
them.
they get stuck, it's their fault, because they're not supposed to go through.
But if
No,
we
they
could
should,
make-
I think they've been citing them, if I'm not mistaken, some of them, but I think,
But they do go in there,
yeah.
so.
There's a potential for a mistake, Councilman Maldonado, that they could get there, and so I can see what you're saying. You don't want it to just stop everything and try to get them to back all the way up. So I'm sure that the engineer will take those comments into consideration when he designs it. So
Bring it up, thank you.
Vice Mayor, you had something to say?
That was my question.
Oh. Anybody else have anything to say? Because one took too much of our time.
So
One,
right now,
One.
there's no sidewalk, till we get the proposal of the new engineers on the, I call it the south side, he called it the west side of
On Apache Boulevard?
Apache Boulevard.
So this is where our dilemma is. We got that million-some dollar grant to do that pedestrian walkway. We don't want to lose that project. So we have to get that design in and put in where they're gonna put it and align it, so we can start doing our part. We would like to move quicker, and that's what would be our goal. And so we're gonna be spending a lot of time working with ADOT to figure out what the heck they're going to do over there, and as soon as we are able to, because we don't wanna do it twice, right? As soon as we know exactly what they're gonna do, we're gonna try to move as quickly as we can on our part. And so that's what Juan was trying to say, is that behind the stadium there, where that erosion's going on, that's all gonna be replaced with this new pathway. So we don't wanna spend a lot of money there, we wanna just try to keep it until we get that put in 2023 now, right? And move forward as quick as we can to, so we're not working twice.
Will there be a possibility to get all that equipment is at Meadow Hills to do something with those two streets that I mentioned?
We'll look at those two streets and look at our budget and our list, because what we're doing is we're working off the approved list that we put in our budget for our streets project. But we'll definitely take a look at that and see if we can squeeze it in somehow or another. And I understand that in Meadow Hills, there's a few streets, Campestre and Calle Alto are pretty bad, but a couple of them are bad. So we're prioritizing most of
To
the
the
time.
presentation that he was gonna do last month, that it was scheduled, I thought they had moved it. It was a nice presentation, had all the streets on there, the cost and everything. What happened to that presentation?
We can redo that, because the instruction on this presentation that was asked on the last meeting was to address Apache Boulevard and the sidewalks there. But we can schedule that one too.
It would be nice because for the public to know it. We are doing things.
Absolutely, we'll bring that one
We
forward.
have projects that we're doing.
That's right.
Okay, thank you.
John, and Juan, this walk pathway and bike and all that, it can be done on the west side or on the other side, instead of destroying one sidewalk that's already there. It doesn't fit, does it
So-
fit on the other side?
So they're going through the design phase on that now, so we gotta give the engineers the chance to come up with it. And as we go through the community, participation on that, we have the community meetings, let's talk about it at that time and see what's the best solution for everybody to have it either on the right side of the street or the left side of the street, and let them come up with the best solution, to solve that problem.
I know there's more driveways on one side than the other, that's probably one reason.
We can look at it.
Thank you.
Anything else for Juan?
Got it. Everybody?
That's all.
Juan, thank you very much, Juan.
Thank you very much, Juan, good job.
I just want to add that I'm asking a proposal to a consultant just to get a better idea how much it will cost the design, the planning profile for the realignment to accommodate the future multi-use pathway for Egan.
Right. We got that one, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Thank you,
Good
Juan.
night.
Nine one. Okay, discussion item B, presentation from Nogales Police Department on enforcement activities of the hands-free ordinance.
Mr. Mayor, we skipped number
What about eight?
Did we skip? Oh, yeah, John.
Sorry, Mr. Mayor.
Sorry. Oh, you can get back at me. A, discussion, direction, possible action, City of Nogales coronavirus COVID-19 guidelines to extend closure of city facilities.
Mr. Mayor, I brought this forward, and I promised to bring that to you forward on every council meeting, for your consideration, discussion on whether should we open up our facilities because of the coronavirus, or should we continue operating the same. I've checked with, our staff and our departments. Everybody's been able to provide, very good service to our constituents with the current operation. And, you know, Mr. Mayor, with hospitalizations on the rise, some cases going up, flu season coming in, it's just my recommendation, Mr. Mayor, that we, remain status quo, in other words, closed for at least another month or so.
Thank you, John.
What's
Members
our
of the council, how do
positivity?
we feel?
What's our positivity rate?
I don't know, and my problem is I don't get the testing numbers from the county. I can tell you how many people are test positive, I can tell you how many people go to the hospital, and I can tell you how many people die, but what I can't tell you is how many people are tested. And I can't get that number from,
It's on the website for the state health.
but not for Santa Cruz County that I'm aware of.
Well, we get it for the NUSD, letting
For
the
Santa
kids
Cruz
go back.
County?
Yep.
Oh, well,
Letting
then
the kids go back to school,
maybe they can share that with us for Santa Cruz County.
because
I-
it's
I
real
don't-
low right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, do we all feel the same? Okay, is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I was gonna say we need a motion and
Yes,
a second.
that's what I was gonna say. Do we have a motion?
Big motion
Second? All right,
to remain closed, right?
we have discussion. Do we have any more discussion?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
could I ask, Councilman Valenciano to make the motion that we remain closed till our next
Council
regular
meeting.
council meeting?
The
Yes.
motion,
Make a motion that we remain close to the next regular council meeting.
yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, John.
Thank you.
B, presentation from Nogales Police Department on enforcement activities of the hands-free ordinance. I asked John to place this on the agenda. I don't know if there's anybody from the police department that's gonna do a presentation on this, but the reason I asked John is because, every day I drive to the office, from the house to here, I see these 10 people driving with their phones.
You're still,
Talking on the phones at the intersection, across the intersection, I see somebody on the phone. I see them all over the place. Either they don't care, or we're not enforcing it enough. So I know we got a list here of how many, looks like, how many citations we're giving out or something. By the looks of it, I think it should be twice the amount. Because we need to enforce this. This has to be enforced. Is there somebody from the PD there?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. We have Commander Jimenez is with us. I had a conversation with Commander Jimenez just previously he helped prepare this memorandum for us. He's on the Hangouts up on the screen. I expressed the concerns and what you have been seeing. I also have seen people driving not using hands-free, which is against the law. And Commander Jimenez confirmed that he's also seen quite a number of people driving not using hands-free. And I talked to him a little bit about it, and I talked to him about your concern, and I think it might be the concern of the entire council, that this is a safety issue that we would like to address immediately. And he's willing and ready and standing by, if that's the direction that we would like to go with the council, and I would agree, that we put together an enforcement campaign that really cracks down on this, to send a message to our community that driving using a phone, not using a hands-free phone, following the ordinance, won't be tolerated in the city of Nogales. If that's a direction that you would
Yes,
like to go.
that's a direction we should do it. It's not handing out a pamphlet. We did that already.
Yes, sir.
And we did it for a long time. And for a couple of months, we were giving out warnings. Remember that? And I thought that was going to be very successful. We need to address it now. On the 1st of next January, it's going to be enforced by the state. January 2021, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken. DPS and everybody. Right now, I think they're through the process of education, kind of like we did. So I think we need to start enforcing it, and we need to see less and less people driving around. If they're driving around, that means that nobody's telling them anything, or they haven't heard of anybody else getting a citation or something. Let's do it before something else happens, and people need to start getting the message out there. And the best message to get is probably being stopped by a police officer and getting a citation.
Mr. Mayor, we're hearing you loud and clear, and I know Tex, if you can hear us, Commander Jimenez, if you can hear us, we'd like to move forward with pretty much of aggressive
Yes.
Campaign for the safety of our traveling public.
Because, if
I'll
almost-
make sure he
Yeah,
hears that.
if I drive and I look over to my right and I see somebody on the phone, I'm sure any police officer can look over to his right and see somebody on the phone too. Let's do your job, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Okay, number 6, orders. A, consideration possible action of order 2020-10-053, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales authorizing the acceptance of an award from the Arizona Attorney General's Office in the amount of $27,000 for the purchase of police-related equipment.
Second.
Thank you very much. Discussion.
What is the purpose of, I hope we're not just, this crowd riot control equipment?
Go ahead, John. You want to explain that, or who's going to explain
What the
that?
purpose of the equipment is for?
Yeah, I just don't, here in Nogales, what is it, this riot, and are you just looking for something? Should you be prepared for it?
Absolutely, absolutely. We would never buy this type of equipment to purposely go incite some type of crowd.
No, that's not what
It
it
is
is.
to be prepared
Be
in
prepared.
case there's any type of civil distress or to protect our officers and protect the traveling public or what have you. And this is standard equipment that most police departments have, shields, and I think it's head protection and the PR-24s to protect your arms in case somebody tries to hit you or something and stuff like that. So it's standard equipment. It's well used throughout police departments across the country.
The purpose of my question is, I remember when the time for police departments, they could get military equipment. And all of a sudden, all the police departments look like a military outfit.
Right.
And I just wanna make sure that what we're getting is what we can be using on, at least, we're gonna spend that kind of money on a week-to-week basis or something. I just don't see that happening here in Nogales. Not that it can't happen, but I just don't see it right now.
Maybe after November 3rd.
Well, that's true.
Councilman Vanessian, or the vice mayor, it was the vice mayor.
We're trying to get it to protect us from you, Marcy.
When I start a riot, you'll know.
All right, any more discussion on this? All right, hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. B, consideration possible action of order 2020-10-054, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, authorizing an intergovernmental agreement with the Nogales School District Number 1 for the reimbursement of the salaries and employee-related expenses of 2 police school resource officers at Nogales High School and Wade Carpenter Middle School for 2020-2021 school year.
Second.
Thank you very much. Discussion?
Mr. Massey, do I have a copy?
No, as a result of your representing school board, no.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Did Marcy vote? Councilman, did you
Yes,
vote?
sir, I did.
You did? I didn't hear you.
Yes, I did. Oh, good.
She voted correctly.
C, consideration possible action on order 2020-10-055, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving a highway safety contract with the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety for the reimbursement of overtime of officers, police officers working DUI enforcement in the amount of $3,000.
$3,000, sir.
So moved.
Second.
Qué poquito dinero. ¿Ah?
Nuevo
Okay.
Rancho, second.
Discussion?
Mayor,
Yes.
Mr. Kissinger, here again, we're falling into this. I know it's very minimal amount of money,
Correct.
but the concept of the pensions, it's only 40%. Now we gotta come up with 60%, and we're gonna continue to get it to the whole.
Yes, and Mr. Mayor,
Go ahead.
before I recommend that we put this on the agenda for your consideration, I looked at the total amount, and I did in my mind, the cost-benefit analysis on it, and for the small amount of $3,000, I don't think it's gonna have that huge of an effect on our unfunded liability pension, but the opposite effect of taking maybe some drivers off the street who are impaired, who could actually, hurt or kill somebody, I would recommend that we pass this and get it done.
Thank you very much.
I appreciate the drama, Mr. Kissinger, but I'm talking about the finances here.
Yes,
We
I
are
took that into
15
consideration.
$15 million right now that the community owes to this fund right now.
Right.
So, I will concede that it is a small amount, but
Thank
the concept is that, at least you explained that you did look over it,
Absolutely.
and, but it is 60%, and we're still in debt $30 million on this.
Absolutely.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None. D, consideration possible action of order 2020-10-056, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving a highway safety contract with the Arizona Governor's Office of Highway Safety for the reimbursement in the amount of $5,600 for the purchase of child safety seats and training for car seat technicians.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
I think this is a wonderful project. You don't know, even when I'm handing out food over there at the senior center, how many parents I have to remind the grandparents to have their child buckled in. It's just so sad to see them, and I told them that it doesn't have to be their fault. somebody could rear end them that's drunk, talking about drunk DUI. And then, you know what happens, I tell the parents, they get charged for not having those kids buckled in, even though the accident wasn't their fault.
Yeah.
And that charge goes down to child abuse. So it's so important that I'm very supportive of this project.
Thank you very much. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. E, consideration and possible action of order 2020-10-057, an order of the City Council of the City of Nogales, a highway safety contract with Arizona Governor's Office, safety for the reimbursement of overtime for police officers working traffic enforcement details and purchase of speed measuring devices in the amount of $14,122.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Your cost benefit analysis, Mr.
Exactly the same as the other one, this one's for 2,858, which is less than the previous one.
Well, the good thing is that we're paying attention to the expense here and it's being high.
Absolutely.
Mayor,
Yes,
that's all I
thank you. Hearing none. This- All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. F, consideration possible action of order 2020-10-058, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving a sub-grantee agreement with the Arizona Department of Homeland Security for Stone Garden Grant 180431-02 in the amount of $149,103 and reimbursable capital outlay equipment.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
before there's a motion to approve this, I wanted to point out, before somebody make that motion, that there is a typo on the staff summary. It's actually 14 radios being purchased on this, not 10.
Okay.
That slipped past me and we weren't able to correct it for tonight's meeting. However, it's only on the staff summary. The order that you're voting on has the correct number of 14.
Perfect.
So moved, Mayor.
Thank you. Thank you. Discussion.
Question?
Yes.
John, if I remember back, a couple of months, we were discussing the Homeland Security. Are they all paid up? Remember that we were looking at and they were behind the,
Reimbursement?
right?
My understanding we are.
We are
I
paid up?
haven't heard about it lately, but my understanding we are. I can look into that exactly.
This is one of the benefits, Mayor, that I have seen come to us from the Stone Garden grant. I'm very supportive because I know we need these radios, and it saves us $150,000 from our general fund. I'm still requesting that, I've asked previously to have a presentation on the Stone Garden about that pension liability, because I thought what was happening in the city of Tucson and Pima County, that they got out of Stone Garden because of the pension liability, which there is regardless of the pension. But then I understand with the chief, Bermudez, that they do contribute the entire amount. So I don't know where we're at, Mr. Kitchener, if we can offer a presentation for clarity purposes.
Sure.
Because I don't know how we got this far, me making those statements, and it was never called to my attention. No, it's wrong. They do contribute.
I've said it several times. I've corrected Councilman Anuncian several times in this meeting when they said that Stone Garden's not paying the PSPRS, and I corrected in this meeting several times that yes, that grant does pay, right, for the ongoing PSPRS city's portion for that overtime. The question is what's the effect on the unfunded liability going forward, which is a moving target. I don't have the answer to that specifically to Stone Garden, and that would be something that we'd have to get an actuary or somebody to say, this is what the effect of Stone Garden would have on your going forward unfunded liability, not our current payment that we have every payroll. We know exactly what that amount's gonna be.
So
But we can work
just to
on
bring
getting a
public
presentation.
clarification to matters.
Sure.
Even though the more we spend, we have that potential unfunded liability, but not to the degree of what I thought it was.
Right.
And why the city of Tucson, I got that from them and from Pima County, and now this came up and, okay, thank you.
Okay, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. G, consideration and possible action of order 2020-10-059. An order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the City of Tucson for the use of the Southern Arizona Law Enforcement Training Center.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Ayes have it. H, consideration possible action of order 2020-10-060, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving an intergovernmental agreement with the Nogales Unified School District Number 1 related to the use of facilities.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. Massey, do I have a conflict?
No, sir.
Thank you.
You never have a conflict, Councilman
Well,
Barona.
I just,
You don't.
the way things are.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Mayor,
Yes.
I just ask what facilities they're talking about? Is it part Memorial
So
Park?
it's, the way it works is, it's typically all facilities, but the ones that the school district typically uses from us or makes the request to use from us is,
Memorial Park.
the War Memorial Park. Ours is typically the
Pearson.
Pearson and some other the facilities for our
Auditorium.
youth,
Yeah.
facilities. So what this IGA gives us is the opportunity to be able to share some of those facilities.
But we're not saying we're opening them now,
No.
No, this
just
is for the
that
whole
we're
year.
agreed
Yeah. this
to
is
work
for-
together. Okay, I just want to make sure.
Ay, Councilman.
Good try, Councilman.
Oh, that was a good try, huh? It's in the fine print.
Hey, gotta take everything opportunity.
That was a good one,
We'll
Councilman.
open it up for you.
John?
Yeah, no, you didn't-
That was
so
a
that's
great
it.
curveball.
Councilman, ya viene.
I'll go ask the school for it.
Does this include the tennis? Does this include the tennis courts at the high school too?
That's it.
I believe it does, but
Yes.
I don't believe that we have programs that we need to use the high school.
I know that.
Unless it's during the youth.
That's all the
It's all facilities.
The gym too. The Apache Stadium, the auditorium, all of it.
Thank you for
Alright,
clarifying.
And I know, if there's any questions, Director Marcel, he's on there, but if
No.
not, we're good.
No,
We
Marcel's
bring
fine.
this to you every year.
Yes, I know. Thank you, John. Thank you, Marcel, too. Okay, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Yes. Aye, Jordan. Oh, boy, this consideration of possible action of 2020-10-061, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales adopting return to play guidelines established by the United States Tennis Association regarding the opening of tennis courts.
So moved, Mayor.
Second?
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Yes, sir. J,
Just
consideration and possible action of order. Should have done consent agenda on this, huh? Should have done it, huh?
would have been nice.
Just before we go to the next item, is this, on this last order that we passed, is this starting today, tomorrow?
Immediately,
Immediate?
immediately.
Who's gonna set who's gonna set the guidelines on that?
Tennis courts have social distancing. There's no groups. Come on, you should, come on. I don't even know why
Well, last
we should
time,
have never closed tennis courts.
last time we talked about, tennis lessons and stuff like that.
Tennis lessons?
Yeah,
They're not permitted.
No,
okay.
es que puedan jugar.
It spells out in here what's
In the
permitted.
guidelines,
Yeah.
okay.
Are we okay, Councilman?
So try and get in there.
All right. Okay. J, consideration possible action of order 2020-10-062, an order of the Council of the City of Nogales, Arizona, approving a contract with Yellow Jacket Drilling Services for exploratory drilling and testing and allocating additional funding to the project.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, Mayor.
Go ahead.
I realize that this project is gonna cost $70,000 extra. Mr. Kissinger and Mrs. Walker said that we have the money within the water funds as an enterprise fund. The question that I have is, we have an engineer from, I don't know,
Wheel down.
Wickenburg. But when you add the $70,000 to Yellow Jack Drilling, which was the lowest bidder, that it now becomes higher than the second highest bidder on the project. So, it's either we made a horrendous mistake to have to come up with $70,000, or the engineer that was selected isn't the quality of the engineer that we should be having for this project. To have an overrun of $70,000, because I added it to their bid, and it exceeds now what KP Ventures would. So I don't understand why we are being put in this position here of this. Did something happen that was out of the ordinary for this? I read the letter from the engineers, which wasn't very convincing, and this will help us secure our water supply. Well, sure, it'll help us. We are recommending that the project budget be augmented by $100,000 to ensure sufficient funds to complete the project intended to provide a dependable water source. Well, the dependable water source was the original purpose of this, but now they want $100,000 more. So who's at fault?
Go ahead.
Thank you, it was a great question. So it doesn't add to their low bid. What happened is during the grant procedure, you go out and you get construction estimate dollars. And I believe that was done by Wildan or Widget, one of those two. So the budget that they called out for the drilling was $80,000. That's what the engineer at the time said he believed that would be the amount of money needed for the drilling. That doesn't mean we had the quotes at that time, because at the time when we make the application to the Bureau of Reclamation for the money, we supply a budget. And those are estimated budgets, right? So the grant was awarded, we allocated funding to complete the project. Now we go out for bids. 3 bids were received. One from Christensen, one from KP Venture, and one from Yellow Jacket Drilling. Yellow Jacket Drilling was the lowest budget to drill that hole, and they came in at $150,397 That's $70,000 less than what we had budgeted for. So we had the original budget, right? So we need $70,000 more for this project in order to pay for this drilling. It's not the total cost of the entire project, just for that budget amount we came out under. So that's why we're asking for the additional funding to move
To make up-
forward
make
with the
up the
lowest bidder. That's gonna charge us $150,000. It's not 70 on top of the 150.
The
I hope
70
that
is
helps.
included in the 150?
Yeah, because the original budget was for 80. That's why we have to come back and ask for additional funding.
I didn't get that one, but you awarded the low bidder $150,000 when you gave it to them? I just don't understand when you say it's included in this, and
Okay, so
so why they say we have to exceed it by 100,000?
So the entire project was $228,000,
Right.
okay? We received $100,000 from the Bureau of Recommendation, so the entire project completely is the 100,000 plus our 128 gives us the 228,000, okay? That $228,000 that we had budgeted for it, which is just an estimate. Remember, these are estimates, not paying invoices. We anticipated, off of advice from Will Dunn, that the drilling portion of this project was going to cost us $80,000, but it didn't. when we got the bids from it, from the 3 bids, the lowest was 150, which is more than 80,000. So we came up short for the drilling portion of this. So in order to complete this project, we need to add more money to drill this hole to the lowest bidder. And that's the amount that we're asking you to appropriate tonight out of our water contingency fund or development fund or something, whatever it's called.
So we're coming up to the 153,000.
Absolutely. It's coming up to the 150 for the drilling.
Uh-huh.
For the drilling.
For the drilling.
What it is, the total cost has increased to approximately $300,000.
If we would ask, if we would add the 70,390 to the 228, would be the total estimated cost for this project. 153.90 would be the portion assigned for the drilling.
This says that the price has increased. So if it's increased, it can't be a part of the original estimate.
You are right. It increased by
Well, for the council to
70,390.
just keep in mind, I've always said, I think Mr. Diaz has always pointed this out though too. We need to watch how we're spending the money on the water and sewer. I'm not going back to the community to ask them to increase their water and sewer rates. I'm not gonna do it. So I know Ms. Walker said that everything is fine, it's an enterprise fund, should be self-sustaining. But remember, we just made a commitment of an additional $15 million for water and sewer projects, and I'm all in favor of that, because that was part of the commitment. But, Mr. Kissinger, please watch that, because
Absolutely. I mean, I
I'm just
wouldn't,
saying, I'm seeing
I
here,
wouldn't put this in front of you if I didn't think that this was an appropriate expenditure of the funds that we have currently available to us.
and why did you go to Wickenburg?
Wittenberg, you're throwing me off with
Wickenburg is that's where they're from.
Oh, I don't know why we selected Will Daniel. Do you know why?
No, it's Widget Creek.
Widget Creek?
Yes, in Widget Creek, we used them on the project where we built the water tank over on the extreme west pressure zone.
Uh-huh.
And we had really good positive results with them. They tend to not be as expensive as engineering firms from Tucson or Phoenix. So the principal there, we go back a ways with her, and so she's proven her reliability and resourcefulness. And so it's just going back with a trusted consultant.
Okay, just be careful with these costs.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Any more discussion?
No.
Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Nobody?
Thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you, John. Number 7, Mayor and Council's report on current events. I'll start with you, Vice Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I don't have anything for this month.
All right, thank you. Councilman Maldonado.
Mayor, basically, the produce industry is starting back up. I had one question. We got the overweight money starting again, right, John? It's been released by the state, right?
The governor has lifted that
That
waiver, so
waiver.
now if anybody's coming across with overweight, we'll have the opportunity
So we'll be seeing
have
that.
to pay. It's not free anymore.
Okay. And basically, there's no sports, no nothing.
Tennis?
Hard to be at home.
At NUSD, there's sports.
Mhm.
We have sports.
We have tennis.
Yeah, but we can't go. We're not family members.
You
Mr.
don't have-
Varona,
I'm sorry,
you guys forgot about the community.
why?
If you don't have kids, you can't go.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dale.
Yeah, they're just opening it up for fans for the parents.
Ve
That's
lo
it.
que te pasa, ándale.
But you can walk in with me.
Okay. It can or it can't.
Councilman, Alicia.
Yeah, I've been driving around town and luckily there's less lights that are turned, that are off than there used to be, right? And I have called Mr. Kissinger on that, but there's still some lights, and I think whoever, wherever you're from, if you have any lights that are off, street lights that are off, just jot them down and give them to John so we can get them turned on.
John's been
And
doing his
also-
work.
And also, there's, like I said, there's still a lot of streets that we need to really look at and the paving. Now that I've been out there in the ground,
Yes, I know.
I've seen all these things.
We should have an election every year.
So you can
councilman
get out his
get
house.
out there and do
I know. I know.
the only thing he does.
Councilman Diaz, you have anything, sir?
There's a lot of stuff going on with, within the BFW, fall conferences and stuff like that, so, it's just BFW stuff. Also, I've been, noticing a lot of lines going into Mexico, which could be something good for the city of Nogales, because, from what I understand, there's a lot of people across the line that can't come this way, but they have relatives living here. So they're giving shopping lists to the people that live here, and the people that live here, when they go across the line, they take whatever they're asking for over there, so that's keeping a little bit of our sales tax coming in. Not much, but it is helping our sales just a little bit. And then I think we should start thinking about what we're gonna do in November, December, when, for the merchants, because all the shopping that's done during the holidays. So if we're shut down or the border's shut down, that's really gonna affect our merchants and our sales tax revenue. So we should maybe start thinking about what can we do to alleviate that and to have shoppers come from Mexico, if at all possible, depending on the COVID and all that, but that's all I got for right now.
You wanna mention, Veterans Day?
Veterans Day, well, apparently I guess we're not gonna have a parade. We're not gonna have, the convention at the reception
Yeah.
at the BFW because of the social distancing and all that. What we're gonna do is just have something small here in front of the honor wall, in front of City Hall, speeches and honoring the veterans, and that's it for Veterans Day. We're not gonna go all out and do the whole deal. It's just gonna be
No more than 50 people.
no more than 50
Mr. Mayor,
people.
we're setting up for less than 50 people, and we're making sure that each one of those chairs is at least 6 feet apart.
Yes.
And we're also,
And they have to wear a
we're
face
also
mask.
gonna request everybody to wear a mask.
So we'll put out a press release and advising people that there's not gonna be a real big event, and the 50 people down here with masks and social distancing and keep it safe.
Perfecto. Councilman Barona, you have anything, sir?
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, I'd just like to have a report on finances to see if we can look at next month a holiday employee bonus for those that make $75,000 and below.
We're gonna do are we doing current events or
No, that's for future agenda items.
are we on future?
It's
agenda?
already put.
No.
No, on
Current
the
events.
wrong, you're right there.
Because I didn't get my pen ready yet.
Yeah.
And Councilman Barona, I just want to let you know, sir, that Mr. Kissinger forgot to put that item on the agenda for this time around. 'Cause I had talked to him and I walked into his office and I said, John, what did I tell you we had to put on the agenda? And we both went like this. Let me think about it, Mayor. And I thought about it, I went home,
That's good.
and when I got home, I said, but the agenda had already gone out. Remember, John, when I was telling him,
Yes,
I
sir.
got something for you, but that's all right.
I totally blew that one.
Me too.
Mayor, I attended two webinars so far from the Arizona Association for Economic Development. Their first session was Economic Development 102. Their second session is Workforce and Training Pipeline. And their third session, out of the 4, which is tomorrow morning, is Selling Arizona. This is only for elected officials. It's open to everybody. And if you want to see the ones that, I have them on here where you can log into them if you want. They did make a comment there that I thought was very interesting about economic development. That says, there's no me without you, but no you without me. Which means all of us are working together, which I thought was very good. And the big question is, for us here would be, how do you advance economic development in your community? And that's what all cities and towns in Arizona is struggling with right now. Especially everybody outside the Maricopa County. And the big thing that they said that I really like, Arizona is not just Phoenix. So this organization is making sure that the resources are being provided to everybody for economic development. And what Councilman Diaz was alluding to right now about people who have relatives over here getting the shopping list and over there, well, we're going to have to do a lot more with that, because you can see how our sales tax is with that. And also they talked about Arizona State University's innovation zones. Unfortunately, see, the innovation zones are very dynamic, well worth it, but they're only in Maricopa County. But if we really wanted some help to help us for a strategic plan for economic development, the Eller School of Business Management at the University of Arizona has a lot of skilled individuals there, students that are doing that. And I also like to announce that Mary Wealthy Elementary School was just awarded the Blue Ribbon A+ school, which is very nice, and we're very, very proud of Mrs. Bonilla there, the principal, and all of the staff there. This isn't handed out to everybody, and she's worked very hard at that school, so we're very proud of going to school. That's all, Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Councilman Verona. Councilwoman Melendez.
Well, I attended the Fiestas Patrias event at the Consulado. The rally came out so well. It was roughly about 45 tracks, all decorated, and we went through Grant and Morley and back to the consulate. I mean, it was unbelievable. It was on the 12th.
I didn't know. I
Yeah,
would've gone out to
we
see
were, it was, I thought it was so good, and it was so well organized, and the truckers helped 100%. We all had
Personal protective equipment.
yes, so it was a nice event. And we're working with the mayor's office towards the placement of the casitas at Chatham Park. It's going to be a little different this year, taking into consideration that we have to have all the things involved, and I think it's going to be a good idea. We need something positive for the community, and I think that would be very, very positive.
Are you gonna make the big house there?
2 of them,
Oh, good.
yeah.
So I can bring my grand. They love it. They wanted a big house to get in.
Yeah, it's 2 of them we're having. Yeah, we're, the mayor and
We'll get started on this
we're
one.
working on that already.
My grandkids love that.
Yeah. We have little doors that go in, there's gonna be lighted inside and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this year we decided that we're gonna invite not only the schools were the first choice last year. This time we're gonna invite different other people for them to adopt the house. That means to paint it. We don't want decorations anymore, because last year we told them we don't want paper decorations. They did paper decorations, and the weather was not good with us. It rained and all the decorations came apart. So this year is going to be a little bit different, and I think it's going to be much, much better. And that's it. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilman.
I was very successful.
All right. My report on September the 3rd, I went to Radio Manantial, talked about the census, pushing the census, how important it is. I believe we're at 95, something like that, John? 95%? Ourselves in the census here?
Yes, sir.
Close
Yes,
to
sir,
it, huh?
95%.
Yes, doing very
That's
good.
very good.
But we still gotta get those 5%. I don't know if they extended it
Right.
for the numerators to get some more. Let's hope we can get on that. On September 11th, we had the 9/11 moment of silence. It was very quick. Some of you attended. We just laid a wreath. We actually placed a wreath out on an easel out there and just had the moment of silence. We didn't have anything else. Some firefighters and police officers showed up and some consuls showed up. And then for the rest of the day, it was placed in front of the honor wall and then brought in the evening into the lobby here at City Hall. September 16th, I had the KBOA interview. Not that much. On September 24th, Councilwoman Melendez and we participated in a Zoom meeting with Partido Verde regarding the environment from Nogales, Sonora. It was a good meeting that we had with the representatives, council and the Partido Verde, and they're very interested in not only their environment but also their wastewater treatment plant over there. And also we talked about our wastewater treatment plant. We talked about the arroyo, the smell, and we talked about the IOI. We talked about all that. So it was I think it was very informative what they think of what they need to do to help us and what they expect from Nogales and the state of Arizona, all the way to Magdalena, and because they're very concerned over there because of the environment. I had an interview with Whatnot regarding border closures, basically explains everything, and then I participated in the Port Authority meeting, Zoom, also. So, and tomorrow I'm going to have another meeting with I guess it's kind of like the PBS, but from Germany. They're coming in, and I'm going to have an interview with them, and we're going to talk about COVID, the closures, and the effect that's happening with closure from Nogales and other too. So, it wasn't a very busy month for me, but got things done as much as possible.
Mr. Mayor, do you want to mention outside on the?
Oh yeah, and by the way, I don't know if you noticed that it's purple, the lights that they placed it. Yeah, that was a letter that we received from the governor's office asking if we could, light up our city hall. So, what John did is, they placed some lights there that we're not gonna be able to use not only for domestic violence, but we could use them for 4th of July, change the color scheme, and then use them for say Septiembre and stuff like that, with the consul, the Mexican consul, so we can, combine the colors and stuff like that for the lights. So it's a good move on that. But besides that, I think that's it. That's all I had. So now we've gone to future agenda items. On the future agenda item, John,
Yes, sir, I'm
the
ready.
councilman said the $500 for the employee.
Yeah, we discussed that and we had,
Uh-huh.
Letty has it ready for this.
Okay, perfect. Anybody else have anything?
Mayor,
Yes.
I was approached by the Girl Scouts, and they wanna have like a movie night. Unfortunately, looks like they wanna have it like on a Sunday, November 1st, which is before our next meeting. And I'm not sure, they were asking to talk to Parks and Rec about using the parking lot or to do maybe use the wall of the rec center to
For
do
the
the
screen,
screen or something like that, have it outside. I'm not sure if that's something we could support them.
I think it could be
Uh,
something. Yeah, as long
I
as
got
it's-
the email late today, it was 3:48 this afternoon. I replied late also, because we started our meeting, but it's trying to see how many participants they plan to have. Is it just gonna be the girls? Is it just gonna be girls and parents or what, and obviously, you know, aware them of having their social distance and all
Yeah,
that.
they just gotta, they just gotta go with that. And being
But
out, being
how-
outside like that, and that they can social distance and you know, not, you know,
Should,
the consideration of the face mask, even if you're outside.
should I lead him to Marcel at Parks
I
and Rec?
think, yeah, I think John,
Or
John
John?
could
Yeah,
take
if you
care of
forward
it.
it to me, we'll talk to him. I think maybe Mayor will, we're looking at what we're trying to accomplish and keep it less than 50.
Yeah, You have
More
to
than
be- you have
6
to
feet
be-
apart,
follow those
mask
rules.
mandatory, you know, there might be something we can do to help them out.
yeah, we're still following the guidelines
Yes.
of the governor's office, so.
Okay.
We still haven't, they haven't sent us anything different, so.
Okay.
Other than that. Anybody else?
I'll follow through like it.
Yes, go ahead.
Also, Mayor, at the next meeting, if we could have, I forgot his name, Michael, what's Michael's last name, bonding agent?
Vasquez. Vasquez.
Vasquez, okay, Michael Vasquez. If we could get an update on the unfunded pension liability and bond debts, especially the 8 million from the ASRS, the 15 million for the police pension, 15 million for the fire pension, the 15 million, for the water and sewer projects, and the 28 million outstanding bonds. How we're doing with that, when they're supposed to be paid off, and also, I'd like to know, you gave me, Mr. Kissinger, and I requested about the mortgage. I noticed that at the $28 million bonds, that all of our facilities are mortgaged against that, including the water lines, which is, you know, considering what's happening with us right now financially, puts us in a very precarious financial situation. So I want to make sure that we all understand where we are financially, and that everything, including this building, is mortgaged out.
Are you suggesting we buy bonds? Is that what you're saying?
No, we're just suggesting that the economy will be a lot better when we get your friends out. Right? Also, I participated in COVID-19 economic recovery survey and strategy that was funded by the Santa Cruz County Board of Supervisors to see what we could do to get our economic development going back there. And I read the final report, and I noticed that there wasn't any participation from the city on that. So, John, if you could get a hold of her, maybe she could make a presentation here at the next meeting.
Mrs. Donaldson?
Yeah, you know her?
I do, I
And
think
she-
she interviewed you on that, right?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
And if we could, so we can find out what the final, I know what the final outcome is, but I think it's important that we all know about it. Also, I received a constituent complaint, Mr. Massey, from Dr. Arnoldo Montiel. And he'll come in to sign the forms that he needs to sign. So he's not just telling me to complain, he just did it, he couldn't come over, he had recently a heart procedure, some personal thing, but it was a heart procedure. And he went over to the fire department to go ahead and sit in for a firefighter in an investigation and all of that.
Right.
And he asked the fire chief if he could use the bathroom, and he was told that I don't have the key. And he needed to use the bathroom. He had to sit there in the first session for an hour and a half, and the second session for 2 hours and a half, with no access to the bathroom. I mean, a little empathy and compassion would have said, let's stop. If there's no bathroom available there, or he can't find the key, why he couldn't find the key, I don't know. But to us, at least said, but I'll make some accommodations for you by stopping the hearing. When you need to go, we'll find a restroom for you and then come back. But I think that that was absolutely uncalled for, to treat a member, a lifelong member of our community in that kind of a manner. If you could please look into that and report it back to the council. Because Dr. Montiel says that he will go ahead and sign whatever forms he needs to sign and give you whatever he also needs to give you. And the other thing that I'm concerned about is that the fire chief called for a meeting of all department heads, what they call quote unquote, all hands on board. And during this meeting, I understand that there was a clipboard that was placed there for firefighters to sign if they were against the fire chief or so. to my recollection. And that he would personally take it to the mayor. I don't know if the mayor requested that from him or what, but I find that very uncalled for as far as leadership there, and I think that I would like for you to look into that and report it back as to what happened before things start to escalate.
I did not request it.
That's good to hear. Mayor, I think that's all that I have. Mr. Kissinger, did you get it?
I did.
Okay, that's it, man.
Anybody else? All right. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second. Meeting is adjourned.
Vote Biden.